All righty. Let's get some people going in here, and I will uh, start talking about the crazy stuff that's been happening so far. Um, Starting yesterday was pretty crazy. It's kind of zooming in and out. Sorry, I gotta find a better place to live stream. Right now, my puppy won't let me like do anything, and I'm still down from my wrist, so it's kind of freaking hard to accomplish anything during the days. So we got 6 people, 3 likes. All right, we're getting started, getting going in here. If you're here, tell me you're here. So because I want to talk about a couple things today that I'm pretty excited. Kaleidoscope from Knoxville, right on. What's up, AC? How's it going? Um, Clarko, what's going on, man? Rita is here. What's going on, Rita? How are you? Uh, what's going on, Rollins? How you doing? So, we've had some things going on with the channel. I'm work Tina. Okay, cool. I got you now. Uh, I've got some things going on with the channel that I'm putting together. What's going on, Shelly? How's it going? Um, I'm going to be adding a couple things and kind of focusing some stuff a little bit differently. Um, I can't help but notice that the like paranormal community has just gotten crazy. Uh, and it's been kind of weird because it seems like we have all of these people coming forward regarding all of these sightings and stuff, but like definitive evidence has been kind of still out of everybody's reach. And in a sense, this kind of makes me wonder what's actually happening. Now, I know a lot of people that have been on this channel for a while now know that I'm really interested in finding out exactly what's happening with the feral people, with the Dogman, with what's up, Matthew? Glad you're here. With Sasquatch, Mothman, all of those cryptids, and in East Tennessee, I believe all of those cryptids are active here, including Mothman. Mothman is one that has really kind of eluded me, and I've really wanted to look deeper into it because I don't think that it's just like one Mothman, and I think that what's up, Brandon Harris. Oh yeah, that's my UK guy. Man, you all have had some wild stuff happening over there. Um, it I don't really like to get into too political stuff here, but man, I'm the guy that lives in Ashe County, the bordered Tennessee, VA, and Todd, North Carolina. Okay, cool. Right on, dude. So going back to the Mothman thing. So I'm not sure. For some reason, my Mothman videos didn't do as good as I hoped because I guess during that time there was also kind of like a flood of people coming from ghost hunting to doing like Mothman investigations, and that's an easy cryptid, and everybody's going to Point Pleasant, and I definitely want to go back there, and I'm planning on going back there. But when I was there, I captured a piece of evidence that to me should have garnered way more attention because people claim to be seeing this creature flying, jumping from trees. What's going on, the Enforcer? Glad you're here, man. That kind of reminded me about something that I also wanted to talk about. So as of right now, if we start getting any type of spamming or stuff, I'm going to be kind of resetting my moderators, and I will try to be on point with getting any type of spam stuff or like hate comments under control. I'm just gonna kick them right going on. NYC, what's going on, man? So anyway, with the Mothman, and since I've been down, I've been really kind of thinking about these topics a little bit more, and I've been doing a lot of other type of research. Where I think I'm going to do some rebranding on the channel to kind of help things move forward. Um, I think that's going to kind of help me grow a little bit more. My channel's been continuously growing, um, and that's a great thing. I think a lot of people want that huge jump, but I've been pushing really hard, and my channel size has continuously grown. I just haven't had that jump yet, so I'm working on some of that stuff, and I'm really interested in true crime stuff, more or less like really on the serial killer type side of things. It was something that always fascinated me growing up, and I always kind of followed closely. And I studied a lot of it in college, along with my homeland security stuff. But so we're going to be kind of jumping into some of that on the channel while I'm still kind of down. I want to get back out on the trail as soon as possible, and I think I'm going to be able to this weekend. I kind of tried things out, and we tried to do a live with that CE5 stuff, and I didn't really get a whole lot of evidence, nothing too crazy. So let's see here. Yeah, definitely hit that like button, y'all. I've been interested in cryptids, Shelly, since I was little. Now I'm 63. Yeah, the cryptid topic is so fascinating, and I grew up here in East Tennessee. It looks completely different now. I was totally like blown away at the population size. I looked up yesterday online to see what the population was in East Tennessee or in Knoxville, and it's currently sitting at 200,000 people. If you drive through Knoxville, it's like every single person is on the road all at once. So it's changed a lot. And back when I was younger, I spent so much time out in the woods and running around, and I'm seeing a lot of the locations kind of go away. And some of those locations is where I had my first kind of paranormal experiences. When I saw what I believe to be a Sasquatch basically pick up a tree and like chuck it. That location now it's still there. However, they have it's getting close. Like you can just see that suburban sprawl kind of moving in. The area that was behind my house where I had all kinds of weird stuff happening, which really kind of got me into the paranormal, was for me going out in the woods. And even like when I was a kid, when my like a little kid, I remember one night I wake up to my older brother. He was sleeping across. He used to sleep across the hallway from me, and he was just screaming like bloody freaking murder. And I get up and I run out there, and he's like looking out the window. I look out the window and I see this huge craft hovering over the woods that I would always go in as a kid. And then eventually my mom came in there, and then the thing just kind of like vanished. So yeah, we're losing a lot of our countryside. But with that being said, it's kind of, I'm doing my best to try to stay positive about it. It's a weird kind of feeling. I remember like when I was in high school, my friends would be talking about like when they felt like they made it, they would be moving out of Knoxville and going to like California or New York. Like that was kind of that was the kind of mentality that a lot of us had, because we just didn't feel like we just kind of felt like there was so much more to the world. But then again, we weren't on computers and we weren't on cell phones all day, you know. So Erica, hope you're doing well. Thanks for your videos. Well, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Things have been kind of crazy with not only my YouTube channel, but with my TikTok too. It's kind of weird. I swear I'm being targeted. Like, it is the weirdest thing. Like, every time I start developing like real evidence and start like really start getting things going, then I get nailed, just like absolutely nailed with copyright claims. And that just kills the revenue, that kills the research, because then I got to go in and I got to battle it out, and it just kind of slows things down. So Matthew Clark, okay, have I seen anything like a Mothman near me? And the answer is yes. So the this happened in Chuck Swan, and John from Exploration Unknown. Yeah, Exploration Unknown. He had a similar experience there as well, and he like captured what sounded like wings. I just kind of saw a clip it when we were out there. I never went back to like really kind of analyze it, but that that night when I was out there, I was in my truck, and John and Josh were sleeping in their hammocks, and at like 4 o'clock in the morning, something landed so hard on my truck, it like shook my truck. Like on the top of in my bed, I've got a headache bar, and when it hit, it sounded like I was asleep in the truck. It woke me right up. It woke John up. It woke Josh up, and they both said that they were so scared to move that they didn't even lift the sleeping bags like over their faces. And when it landed, it sounded like somebody had just taken like a bucket of water and just dumped it on my truck. Then somebody else had reached out to me later on, and they were hunting in Chuck Swan. And when they were in a tree, I'm trying to think exactly what the details of the story was. He was in a tree, and he looked over, and he saw like this man-sized creature that was winged, and he said he was totally frozen. He didn't like really know what to do. I think he was bow hunting, is the reason why he didn't really take a shot. But there has been reportings of Mothman in places like all over. Like, there's been several of them in Illinois, obviously in West Virginia. There's been several sightings of them. And then down in, I believe, Ohio and in Tennessee. I want to know. Okay, no. Okay, so no, it's Virginia. It's Ohio. It's West Virginia, Ohio, Virginia, and Tennessee is where, like, where I felt like that they were pretty credible sightings that happened. But when I was there, and yes, Blake, I definitely believe that the government experiments have a major thing to do with it. Jeff, what's going on, brother? So when I was there in Point Pleasant, and this came through in the movie, and I had not watched the Mothman movie in years. So I was not, at the time, I didn't make this connection until like almost like a year later, when I sat down and I rewatched the Mothman movie. But when I was in the domes, which they do make some wild sounds, because it doesn't even come through the audio that you hear from just the movement inside those domes on camera does not do it justice at all. Like, I mean, it is it's like the worst representation of the sound that happens in the domes. But anyway, as me and Josh, we were in there, we were kind of looking around, and I had heard something, and I knew that I captured it, and it was like a totally different. It was like the best way I could describe it would be like somebody talking on a different frequency, and when I went back and I heard and I listened to the noise and listened, and it to me it definitely sounds like somebody's trying to say something, but what it like you can't really determine what's being said. Now, a lot of people will be skeptical of really considering any evidence like audio evidence inside of the domes because of the amount of really kind of distortion that happens when you're in there. So I want to go back there. I really kind of want to concentrate on getting better audio. I want to get back into Chuck Swan, and I'm going back to Land Between the Lakes. I'm hoping I had planned to go just before my surgery. However, my hand got like really bad, and I had to get through the surgery before I went back up. So I'm definitely going back up there to do a better Dogman investigation there. Because I'm obsessed with the Dogman as well. I love the Feral People, I love Dogman, and I love Mothman. Those are my big three favorites. And a lot of people kind of throw some shade at me because the Sasquatch is not there. But to me, I'm really interested in finding out if these things are 100% real. I have seen Bigfoot, me personally. So I know that he's real. And I know that the behaviors of a Sasquatch are not represented well in our society. I don't think that it's just not like that. And so with that being said, I am kind of like an adrenaline junkie. So I love the risk of being put in a situation where a giant animal could attack me for some reason. It's stupid. But I do. And so I love the Dogman. I love the mystery of the Feral People, and I love the mystery of the Mothman. So I'm really stoked. Martin, what's up, brother? Shelly, thank you. I love your videos on the Feral People. I'm working hard on the Feral People too. Christopher, thank you for saying this is one of your favorite channels. I get that a lot, and I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. It really makes me want to try to create a better experience for you all. And I've been working really hard to try to do that. But the issue that I keep running, it's so freaking weird because of these crazy things that start happening to my channel. Okay, Matthew's got a super good question, and Avalon Rising. Sorry, I can't. I'm having trouble seeing, so a lot of your all's names are kind of blurring together on me. I would shit my pants if I saw something like that out in the woods and I was alone. For sure, it's so scary. It's so scary, but at the same time, it makes the video evidence that we do capture, to me, seem more real. A lot of people argue, no, how do we not have these clear images of these things? American Pie laughs out loud. Cool. It's really hard being from East Tennessee and watching some of your videos. I think you were blocked. You were blocked, weren't you? Is that what you do? You just come try to garner attention? It's kind of surprising you jump back on that quick. So what if it hurts you We know who wins that one, right? Yeah, exactly. But I do go in armed, and I try to maintain. I try not to put myself in a position where I don't think that I will be able to get out of it. So yes, I do go out looking for like feral people or dogman and these things, but at the same time, I'm not willing to put myself at risk where I don't think that I'm going to be able to get myself out of it. And I want people to have the feelings, to have the mentality that they can go out into um, the mountains here and they can have a good experience, because I want to represent the paranormal and the crazy stuff that does happen in kind of the right way. It's not going to happen all the time, but so when were you okay when you were on Destination X? Did you get to talk to Josh Gates? I did, but it wasn't very long. I wish I wish I would have been able to speak with him more. It was more or less just kind of like a, hey, I appreciate you coming on kind of thing. He's a super nice guy, but he is super busy. So I totally get that. But I basically got to spend the whole day with Phil Torres, and that guy he's freaking awesome. I love Phil. He's such a he really cares. Like, to me, he's got, in my opinion, he's got kind of the same view on it. I think that he genuinely cares about the paranormal. He's really not willing to kind of um, embellish things, even though, like, yes, it is on TV, and a lot of that comes off as can be as embellishment. But Phil himself is very straightforward with you, and like talking, like when we were going over some of my evidence that he caught, like he was very direct. He was very inquisitive about it, and it's just really cool. So let's see here. Okay. Wasteland Warrior, we need to figure out a way to keep you with a steady flow of money to keep your research going. Man, I'm trying. I'm trying so hard. It's definitely my channel. The people on my channel definitely help me in the most amazing ways, and I am so grateful. But it can be difficult, especially the way with the cost of things now, like and maintenance on vehicles and getting out there and buying food and all that stuff. Like, it just goes so quick, and it's so hard to kind of I don't like to be the type of person that comes on and asks for money and stuff like that. And I've been trying so hard to make the channel so it can be solely supported based on my ad revenue and memberships. So I even I dropped my memberships because I know a lot of people are financially having a lot of trouble right now, and I have the ability to offer some additional content, for that could benefit us both for a reasonable price. That's why my memberships now are at 99 cents, so that's really, I'm working on it, but it's just kind of, things happen, and then the channel kind of goes down with these like copyright claims and stuff like that. Like, it kills my revenue. Like yesterday, my revenue was literally cut in half, which is a huge blow. But I'll eventually get through all the copyright stuff, and I'll eventually get the channel to where it goes, but where it needs to be. But I'm working on that, and I'm going to try to incorporate like my TikTok shop stuff on my TikTok to kind of help the channel. And I'm working with a couple of companies right now because I just don't want it for me. Like, with these companies that I work with, I want to be able to offer you all something, because you all are supporting me. So whether it's like a discount or anything like that, like, I want to be able to pass something off to you all. So I'm in the process now of working on getting something that would really benefit you all, and to kind of help the channel as well. So it's a couple. One, I'm going to be trying to give away an e-bike, and then I'm working with another health company that's going to be offering some stuff too. We're going to be doing some giveaways on the channel for you all. So I think that's pretty cool. But you know, it's in the works. So I'm definitely working on it. But I don't want to get too kind of caught up on the financial side of things, because this is a paranormal channel, and that's what I want to talk about. But Charlie, thank you so much for the PayPal donation. That's awesome, dude. I appreciate it. So, okay. So I kind of want to talk about a couple things, because we are 26 minutes in and we've talked about Mothman. So, Clarko, am I still taking kratom? I take kratom as I need it. I don't use kratom every day. And I only use the powdered kratom. I don't use any of the synthetic stuff. I don't think that's good. I think it's too easy for that stuff to get kind of out of control. The one of the sponsors, Happy Hippo, and I believe my discount is still on there. I'll have to double check, but they only sell powdered kratom, and that is going to be, in my opinion, your best bet. You know, that's just how it is. I don't really want to throw down on people that like the synthetic stuff or whatever. I kind of think it's your choice, but for me, just the powdered side works the best. So, okay, so we got a couple questions here. Let's get back up to them. So Martin asks, what did I find in the Western North Carolina investigation? So that is going to be, I'm working on breaking that down into like a series on the feral people. What I found was, on those investigations were two things that I am really kind of keeping my eye out and looking for to show evidence of the feral people, right? One thing I did find was footprints. I found more footprints in an area like off of the trail where you have no reason to be barefoot. Like there's no reason to be barefoot. I mean, the snakes that are out there, the sticks that would cut your feet, it is just kind of ridiculous unless you are out there barefoot every single day, hunting, climbing, all of that stuff. So I found more evidence of footprints. Something else that I found was what I believed to be a fire hardened spear. So the spear itself was about between 9 and 10 foot long. So it was big. You could tell that the bark had been intentionally stripped off of it. And then they took it over a fire. And I actually didn't learn this technique until recently, till after I had found the spear. And what happens is that the people and this has been a practice in Native American culture, back in the day. So what they do is they will find a long branch, and it doesn't matter if the branch has any kind of waves in it, because they choose these specific trees, and then they take it and they hold it over the fire, and they bend it's mainly talked about with arrows, but they can bend and modify the branch so it actually straightens out, which I found this piece, and it looked obviously like it had been like overly used. It was pretty beat up. There was what I believe to be some blood on it, and I found this kind of at a couple at another location, but it wasn't to this detail. So I was super excited about it. It was really hard for me not to share it, but I'm really excited about this, the way that I'm going to be doing this and presenting this. So I've been putting a lot of work into it. So yeah, I did. I also went to another location in North Carolina, which I've got to get those. I could get this video up pretty quick on at least the member side. I'll get it up on the member side first. So in North Carolina for, God, I think it went back to like the 1960s. They talked about a cryptid that was very similar. Sharon D membership says it should be 99 cents. So it should be on there. Unless you're on my Patreon. Let's see here. Okay, so also in Western North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte, there is another cryptid that they call Normie. So Normie, does it really say $2.99? I just changed that. Let me go back and check it out. So I'll do the story and make the adjustments right now, if need be. So just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, it's in Lake Norman, which they call it Normie. And if you go there and you talk to the locals, it's like a done deal. Like, this thing is in this lake. Like, it's in the lake. It goes as far as they have like warning kind of classes for children that they talk about in school. Now, granted, the way that they present it to children, it's more of a kind of fun experience talking about this cryptid. But at the same time, they are very direct in cautioning people that are going into Lake Norman. Now, what I found to be interesting is that in the area, this lake was basically created from an offshoot of another river. So this creature that's in currently Lake Norman, it goes back to the Native Americans talking about having interactions with this thing. So it's like, it's there. When I was there, I did a lot of drone stuff over the lake looking for stuff. To be honest, I didn't really find a whole lot. I wasn't able to get a lot of evidence. I talked to a lot of great people, but I just wasn't able to get the evidence that I was really looking for. And I think that's partly why I've kind of delayed getting that video out. But it is a good video. I really do like what I did with it. I love, the story of it, being able to share it with you all. So I think it's really cool. Bubba Dubba Doo, I think feral people should be your bread and butter. I have everybody telling me that. Every financial person, like when I had a management company that was working with me, that's exactly what they were telling me. They were like, if you want to just make money, all you need to do is just continue to do the feral people over and over and over, because it works well on your channel and that's going to be your best bet. But with me and with the paranormal, I truly believe, this is my belief, that these things are real. I don't think that they are in big of abundance as they're really made out to be. I know that there's a lot of creators that have this idea that we just in the Appalachians, we just have feral people, we have Bigfoot, we have Dogman, we have hauntings, we have all of this stuff just running constantly through the woods, attacking people, and you can't even go into the woods because it's so dangerous because we have all of these cryptids. I believe that these cryptids are there, but I just don't think that they are there at that level. And with my channel, I want to keep as much integrity as possible. And so, I don't always have the ability to go out and investigate the locations where I want to investigate, because it is expensive. So I definitely would love to be jumping from story to story to story on feral people only, but I got to be real with it, and I got to be real with you all. I like to include these other cryptids as well, but they oftentimes allow me to kind of keep content coming on the channel in between investigations. So that's why my channel is not just feral people all the time, because one, I care about the paranormal. I care about the cryptid feral people, and I want to keep the encounters, and I want to keep my investigations as real as possible. And I really do go out to all of these locations. I really do, work hard at this, and I want to be able to present it in a way to you all that if some of you all are interested in going out and starting to investigate the paranormal, you can watch my video and you can walk out to that same exact location where I was, and you will experience the same thing. I don't want to put unnecessary fear in people, because I do really want people to get out in the mountains. I really do want people to get out and explore, because I think it's really good for you. But I'm not willing to sacrifice just, I'm just not willing to do that. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Hold on. Eddie, dude, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Dude, that's a huge help to me right now. You're freaking awesome, because as soon as I possibly can, I'm going to be out on the trail hitting it hard. Okay. Forrest, what do you think about folks who fake or set up the opportunities for videos or content, as far as like what with like cryptids and ghosts and stuff? So it really just kind of depends on what. No, they are not, Janine. They are not going to be turning Chuck Swan into a freaking neighborhood. I will lose my mind. I will personally go there and strap myself to a tree freaking naked, because that's horrible. That's horrible. Like, why you can't, that's just not. I'm trying to be positive. Okay. So yeah. Okay. All right. So Forrest has a good question, and I just kind of got thrown off. So Forrest says, what do you think about folks that fake or set up the opportunities for videos or content? What do you think about people that fake content to gain views? So they only have one thing in mind, and that's money. That's all they want. They just want money. If I was going to go down that route, and if I was like, okay, I'm just going to make money, it would be, I don't know. I haven't really thought about how I could fake stuff. So that's kind of but my view of it would be that would just kind of be exhausting to me. One, I have a family, I got kids. Like, it would be kind of in my mind, for them, I think it would be kind of embarrassing if I were to go on YouTube or wherever and intentionally fake content. You know, because it hurts the paranormal. It does, because you'll see kind of what's happening now. We have but I think that what's happening now with the people coming out and talking about it, I think a lot of it, a lot of people are embellishing stories with it, for one. And I think a lot of it's kind of drowning out a lot of the fake visualization or audio representation, because people now just kind of feel like, oh yeah, I can just say this, I don't have to put in that work. So in a sense, like doing YouTube and this stuff, in my mind, it's still kind of like an art. So it just kind of puts your character out there. So that's how that's how they do it. I personally genuinely believe that Bigfoot is real. I believe that Mothman, it's something with Mothman. It is real. I believe that there are feral people. I believe in ghosts, demons, that stuff as well. And the locations that I go to, you can go there and you can experience exactly what I did. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. But I'm not interested in calling those people out. I'm not interested in creating a debunking channel and going it and dragging them through the mud. I know it's great for clicks, and I know it's good for the finances, but I truly care about these topics because I've had personal experiences, and I want to bring that to the world. And on that day when I get the Bubba, I'm going to come back to that because it's a very important question. You saw it. I saw it earlier. And I kind of lost. But okay, so when I have that hardcore evidence, I'm going to have the credibility to back it up. And it won't just be dismissed, Okay, so Bubba asked, what do you think of the rumors of a special military unit that deals with cryptids? Okay, so for you all who might be new to the channel, I was in the Army. And I have friends that are in special operations units that are active. Lucas, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Crap, I'm sorry. So with that being said, Tony, dude, thank you for the $25 PayPal, dude. That's freaking awesome. So what I think of is, okay, sorry, not what I think of. Okay, so I know these groups and how they operate. So there's not going to be, in my opinion, there's not going to be a single special operations unit that is only going to be hunting cryptids or going into these locations. The way that it's going to work is they are going to be getting their most elite guys, and those are the people that are going to be going and hunting, and those people are currently in active military units that are used to be deployed anywhere to handle threats to the United States. So I don't think that there's going to be a so-called special unit, but I think that and I kind of know this for a fact, that they do take special operations units and have them investigate kind of things like that, because it would just be too much to kind of get a group of people who that was their only job to go out and hunt Bigfoot. And I think it would be kind of a waste of military, resources, because the training that we do for our soldiers and our Marines is the best in the world. We have special operations groups that are the best in the world. One that doesn't get as much clout that as I think they should is the Army's Delta guys. The Army doesn't really get a whole lot of credit for things, but they do kind of fly under the radar in a sense. And I think those are the people that they are going to be sending into situations like this to secure areas. So, for example, if there would be like a UAP crash, they would have to have some sort of advanced security force that would be able to secure the area, not necessarily for what would be coming out of the craft, but would be for the outside people that are trying to get their hands on it. So that would be the biggest risk that I think that they would kind of run into. Now, as far as retrieval groups, I definitely think that there are retrieval groups, but I don't think they are necessarily trained in retrieving extraterrestrial craft. I think they go through a certain very specific training, and they are basically sworn to secrecy, and their bearing is to complete the mission. They're not worried about whether or not they are picking up an alien. They're not worried about any of that stuff. Their job is to complete the mission. With that, there is a lot of training that the U.S. government requires you to go through. I know that because when I was on Fort Knox, I was one of the only certified radiological people on Fort Knox. So I had to go through all of this weird training and kind of keeping the public away, keeping other soldiers away. There was at one point the sergeant major came over, and we had in one of the areas we had a piece of equipment that contains cesium and americium. The sergeant major came over and was like, why is this yellow box around this Connex? And he decided that he wanted to go in that Connex. And me, as a little E4, had to walk up to the sergeant major and be like, excuse me, Sergeant Major, you have to stand behind that yellow line. And it was very intimidating. But even with that, with basic equipment that's used in the Army, the requirements for that training is kind of crazy. So I hope that answered your question. So the Kandahar Giants, I know people that personally saw this thing. So I'm going to try to get one of them to come on and talk. Kimmy, how are you doing? Jeff Rawls, thank you for joining the live stream. Clarko Contractors for sure. I think the end of the day, you see that is faked, and to me, that is super boring. Exactly. Foggy Mountain Witch coming in. So, I know people who were there in Kandahar that saw this thing and that dealt with other people that had seen that thing, and it freaked them out. It gave a lot of them pretty severe PTSD. I think that the military kind of tried to somewhat cover that up. I think it's still kind of being covered up today. What's going on, Hot Wheels? So yeah, I definitely think that, but in that case of the Kandahar giant, I don't think that it was a specific military group that came in to go hunt that thing. It was more or less the guy that I knew. He was a mortarman, and he was like, dude, he was like, this thing was, it was absolutely huge. He was like, afterwards I talked about it to him, and a lot of the descriptions that you find online, he said that it wasn't necessarily that big, but it was massive. um, so yeah, these things are out there, and that kind of goes with the dude, my brain just farted. Um, the most famous case, the Dennis Martin case. There's a lot of people that talk about a military group that was brought in to specifically hunt whatever was in the woods. Um, I think that they were brought in. They brought in a special operations unit that was close, that could offer better equipment, offer better abilities to go look for Dennis Martin. I don't think it was necessarily, and whether or not they dealt with the feral people in that period, who knows? But I don't think that they were specific people trained to deal with cryptids. So, um, however, a lot of this, there's been recently a big push with the VA to help individuals that worked on projects that were from extraterrestrials. So there's a lot of people that served honorably our nation in areas like Area 51, and now they are having massive problems with cancer, with their children being born either stillborn or having cancer. And I know that, actually, I don't know if they automatically, I don't know if they open that up right, like immediately, but there's a big push to help those people out. So I could very well be wrong. So, you know, okay. Yeah, y'all hit that like button. Let's see here. Let's see here. I saw another question. Um, okay, so Forrest said, you need to be more safe when you go out. Maybe have a partner with you at all times. So I will kind of address this comment. So a lot of the times when I will get kind of notified about a sighting, I want to get there as quickly as possible. With that being said, bringing somebody with me can be kind of difficult in coordinating that. Tony has the ability to go out on these big investigations where they've got a whole group that they're able to plan this out, and really it takes a lot of time. And in my opinion, that time is crucial, because the moment, whether that person said, I had this encounter yesterday or I had this encounter 2 weeks ago, I want to be boots on the ground as quickly as possible. Another reason why I don't take somebody out with me is because of the locations that I go to, like, they are legit. If you take away the cryptid side of things, the locations are dangerous on their own. Like, going into the mountains on your own in these areas is dangerous. when you go into the mountains and you have this mentality that you are going out there looking for a feral person or looking for a dog man, you're like, you're going to be kind of scared. And each step you take, you hear new noises in the woods. You encounter new smells. All of that stuff can cause panic. When you take somebody else out there, there's always the risk of that other person getting injured as well, getting like a mechanical injury. For example, when I was up in, I was on the Gatlinburg side of the Smokies not too long ago. I came way too close to a timber rattlesnake. When I saw that thing, I like panicked and like stumbled backwards. And in that, in that time, it would have been very easy for me to like broken my ankle or, fallen or hell, getting bit by a snake. Of course, having somebody with you if you got bit by a venomous snake would be, pretty cool. But having those mechanical injuries when you got two people in an area, your chances just go way up. And with me, as much as I'm not trying to brag on myself or anything, but I truly do have the experience. I truly do have the ability to get myself out of a bad situation. And I set up things with people before I leave, saying, hey, if I'm not back, by this time, you need to start looking, or, stuff like that. You don't hear me. If I don't make that kind of rally phone call that I was supposed to make, then they start the process. But I always make a plan and let people know where I'm going, how I'm going to be there. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I go alone. It's really kind of my safety, because I have the ability to get myself out. And if something does go wrong, I can definitely get out of it. Gene, thank you so much for the $5 Cashapp. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. That's a huge help. I'm definitely going to be I'm going to be getting on the trail, and I've definitely could use the help. Okay, so something else I want to talk about was that House oversight hearing that happened yesterday, where they had that UAP get struck by a Hellfire missile. I don't know if everybody got to see this. Ruptured duck. I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe in spirits. Yeah, for sure. That stuff's legit. Like, it doesn't happen the way that it's often portrayed. But yeah, for sure. Ghosts and demons and that stuff, they're legit. So this UAP gets hit by a Hellfire missile, and if you look closely, and I'm not seeing a lot of people talk about this, but if you look closely, after it gets hit, it's broken up into, I think, a total of 5 different pieces. The elevation of those pieces don't change. They continue to move, and they follow that freaking orb right behind it. And it never skips a step, nothing. After getting hit by a freaking Hellfire missile. Now, when I saw that, one, it was kind of scary to see, because me, being in the Army, having an experience with weaponry, having a target be able to separate into multiple pieces and not drop to the freaking sky is or drop out of this freaking sky is crazy. And somebody else commented on that video, and I meant to like it, and I pulled it down, and the comment just kind of went away. And I have ADD, so I didn't go back and respond again. But they suggested that they suggested that what if they are not attacking us and we are attacking them? Which kind of when I first thought about it, I was like, it's kind of a good point. And then I really kind of start thinking about like the whole interactions that we have more other than the case in Los Angeles that happened back in the day. We don't really have any information on them directly attacking us. So they may not even have the mentality of wanting to attack us, like at all. It might not be in the plan whatsoever. Hey Sharon, what's going on? Glad to see you here. Which kind of pushed me back to something I was thinking of when I was doing a lot of research, that these encounters that we have with these entities, if you want to call them that, they've really never been on like an attack thing. Even like abductions, people don't talk about like really, getting in fights and stuff with them. Where that person was continuously like attacking the alien and they weren't doing any type of fighting back. The abductions that they talk about, it's all seems to be kind of scientific, which is to me kind of interesting. And it kind of brings down a lot of my fears regarding having an interaction with these creatures, because I that one time when I was out in that field and I saw those two freaking UAPs appear, I was absolutely terrified, but at no point was I really at any kind of risk. I do think that there could be like some sort of side effects. I think the majority of these crafts come really kind of from a different dimension. I don't think that they necessarily travel like light years through space like they're talking about with this upcoming one. That's really kind of why I haven't really addressed it. I know there's a lot of people talking about this this craft that's coming towards Earth, and a lot of people are scared, and a lot of people are getting a lot of really bad information. And I've heard from everything from they're planning on destroying the Earth to they're planning on just coming and attacking us. And it's all this kind of strange fear mongering. And it just doesn't seem rational for them to travel all of this way and then just, destroy us or destroy the planet. I think the amount of resources that they would need to do that would just be extraordinary, because they're traveling like. So Matthew, when I said the side effects of these encounters, that's kind of where I was going. And I think that there could be a lot of explanations for the missing person cases that kind of happen, is that somehow these portals or wormholes are open inadvertently, or it's just a natural phenomenon that happens within our planet that we just really haven't discovered yet. I would put my hand on a stack of Bibles and swear that one day I almost stepped into one of those portals, because that was still to this day was one of the most scary experiences that I've had doing what I do. What the hell was that? My like whole house shook. It literally sounds like someone's walking on my roof right now. I do have a lot of weird shit that happens outside of my house. I will admit that. I do bring a lot of this stuff home with me. I do my best to. Yes, Matthew, I know exactly where this portal is. Exactly where it is. And what's interesting is it's in an area that the Native Americans would kind of use. I don't know if you all can hear that, but yeah. So, and you would think that you would want to go back immediately and do some more investigations on this thing, but it scared the shit out of me. Like it really freaking did. And I'm going to go back there. I'm definitely going to go back. I want to do a lot of like radiation tests on it. I want to get some readings and kind of see, if there's anything there. Am I possibly feeling an earthquake? It could be. It could be an earthquake. But that sounded like something was walking on my roof. Like, there's the room that I'm in. There's like a kind of small attic space and then roof, which was weird. But it could have been a big fat raccoon or something, I mean, I'm not out there right now, so I don't necessarily want to say it was like a Sasquatch or something. Yeah, I'm going to go, I want to go back to that location. It's really a beautiful area. And there's a lot of paranormal activity that happens there. I had my son drive me out there because I was just absolutely stir crazy after having surgery. And I had my son drive me up there. And when I was when we were going kind of back down the mountain, I was just kind of looking out the window and I see this large black figure moving through the woods. We stopped. I got out and I recorded some. I think I put that footage on the member side, which reminds me, I didn't check to see what the members' pricing was. But I will definitely get this adjusted. But so there's a lot going on in this area, and there was actually a serial killer even that was in this area that would bury bodies there. He actually graduated with my brother in high school, and he went to jail. He got caught, and then like he served like between 5 and 10 years, and then something happened where the case ended up getting I think appealed, and he got released, and so he's out. He's roaming around Tennessee. Dude, what the hell is banging? It's not Sunny. Sunny's just sleeping. She's passed out. She's pretty funny. Darth Raven, what's going on, man? So, okay, another thing that I wanted to talk about was Sherry. Thank you so much for that donation. It's a huge help to me. I've got all kinds of stuff in the works, and yeah, we're gonna be getting back on the trail really soon. Maybe it's the cryptids that knock. It could be. You know, a lot of things happen to me, and it's kind of weird. One of my most scary paranormal experiences that happened to me happened to me in my own bed, and it was after an investigation, and like that shit scarred me. Like I thought that I was like having a dream. I thought I was having a dream, and I was talking to this child that was next to my bed, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. And then the next thing I know, they take their finger and they stick it in my chest. I've talked about this a couple times in my lives. And the next morning, I get up and I go into the bathroom. I've got my shirt off, and I've got a burn in the shape of a fingerprint in the center of my chest. That scared the hell out of me. That was when stuff like that started happening at my house is when I really kind of had to step away from a lot of the like demon kind of investigations, a lot of the haunting stuff. Yeah, Sharon, it was, gosh, that was a terrifying experience. Another time, something else that happened to me was out at the witches circle, and I had something scratch the shit out of the back of my neck, like drew blood almost. And you know, when you go out there and you're in these locations where like just horrific things have happened, it really can wear on you as a person. So could be a demon that followed you home. Yeah, for sure. Then I have the mirror from the Lawson murders, and I still have that thing. And that thing, like, I use Palo Santo wood. I don't use sage. Sage can kind of, in my opinion, sage can kind of stir things up a little bit more than the Palo Santo. The Palo Santo wood, in my opinion, just kind of lowers the atmosphere, kind of calms things down. Sarah Beth, thank you so much for the Venmo. That's a huge help. Huge help. So I'm going to be getting on the trail, and I've been really working hard on getting things put together, and I'm really excited about it. But it definitely gets expensive, so that for sure helps. Oh, demon dogs or hellhounds. So I've had an experience with the hellhounds too. The hellhounds in Red Ash. That shit was freaking scary. That, like, there's a lot of people who go out, and that's another thing that happens in Red Ash. There's a lot of people that go out there in the attempt to, like, try to summon demons. They want to have these interactions, and you know, they'll bring like the Ouija boards, the spirit boxes, all of that stuff. Like, I don't necessarily think that the Ouija boards or the spirit boxes are necessarily, like, I guess, the portal that these entities would use. I think it's more of people that are putting themselves, they're opening themselves up to this stuff, and that is what kind of invites a lot of this stuff in. So Foggy Mountain Witch, she wants to know about the hellhounds. So in Red Ash, it's a very kind of mountainous area. What does my wife think about the things that happen in our house? Um, well, to be honest, she does not like it at all. She like when things start happening in the house, she's like, "You stop! Like you have to stop." Period. And then that's kind of that's a lot of the reason why I stopped doing a lot of the demon type investigations is because I was bringing stuff home, and I work really hard not to bring it into through the door, because you can really take a lot of precautions to prevent a lot of this stuff from happening inside of your home. And I do that, but initially when I started it, I didn't really know a lot of it, and it was like I brought in a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been bringing. So the hellhounds, anyway, in Red Ash is kind of near like La Follette area, I think. So there is, it's kind of a mountainous area, but not really. The mountains aren't like huge. So I have been out there once. We experienced them with John. John, I think Josh was with me too, and I recorded it. I don't know if that actually made it out though, because it was the sounds that you hear. So when we were out there previously, somebody had been doing something, like as far as, I don't necessarily want to label witchcraft, because I've come to find out not all witchcraft is necessarily bad, but in this case what they were doing was bad. Because there was like blood on the ground. There was like, you could just tell it was something a little bit more serious. And when we were, when we were out there, I don't know if that was with John or not. I'm kind of trying to think about because I've been up there a couple times. But I know I experienced them with John, but I don't know if the blood and shit that I found was at this time. But somebody had been doing something anyway. So it's kind of irrelevant. But you hear in the woods outside, so Red Ash Cemetery, you have to go through this whole like kind of apocalypse almost kind of looking area. You pass like these big silos and these older buildings that like you have all of this overgrowth all over, and it kind of goes around, and you end up at this kind of blocked off area. There's really nowhere to go once you're in the cemetery. And so we were kind of in this weird position. It freaked me out because there wasn't like two exits to get out of the situation. But all of a sudden we hear this like crazy movement happening in the woods. And then I'm looking over and we see these kind of reddish looking eyes moving through the woods, and they're like yelping and like screaming and stuff. And this is what's kind of interesting to me, because then at that point, once we're hearing these things and we can definitely tell they're coming near us, earlier in the night I had thought that I had seen these green eyes, and they were pretty high up off of the ground, and they were in the forest outside of the cemetery. Libby, glad you're here. But then when we start hearing these other like howling and crazy sounds coming out of the forest, and we're seeing these eyes, then I see the green eyes again, like back near where we're hearing these sounds. And then all of a sudden you just hear this loud, just almost like attack. And it wasn't like the hellhounds were attacking something. It was like they were being attacked by something else. And at that point, we're just like, holy shit, we got to get the hell out of here. And then there was another time when I was up there and I'd heard the same kind of sound, and it's not coyotes, it's not wolves. The way that they move, the way that they yelp is totally different. It's way more intimidating. Let's see here. Okay, I know I missed a lot of questions. Yeah, so Foggy Mountain remembers what I'm talking about. I'll look and I'll try to find it. Yeah, so I'm not crazy about messing a whole lot with the hellhounds because that situation is a little bit different because there's multiple of whatever these things are, whether or not they have the ability to kind of, I don't know, shapeshift, or if they just my experiences with them, they've always been extremely unpredictable, and you never kind of know what's gonna happen when you start hearing those screams and you start seeing those eyes. Funerals are usually crowded sometimes when announced. Let's see here. Foggy Mountain Witch. Here in Germany, we have the Churchyard Grim, a black dog with red eyes. That is freaking awesome. As watchers for the churchyard, not the cemetery. Or for the churchyard cemetery, not. Sorry, I screwed up what you said. That's pretty cool. And what I find really interesting is that these interactions have been kind of talked about in cultures all over the world, without having like direct access to each other. Like we see that with the Sasquatch in basically in any culture on any part of the earth. There is people that talk about having some sort of variation of a Sasquatch. Matthew, have you been to an ancient cemetery at night? What do you consider ancient? So I've been to a cemetery that had, I want to say early 1700s. In Chuck Swan, they have cemeteries from like the Revolutionary War. Really old. So yeah, I mean, I've been to like really old cemeteries, and that's typically where a lot of the weird shit happens. So like in Chuck Swan, when we had that encounter with that winged Mothman type creature, was near an area that had old graves in from like the Revolutionary War, which is pretty wild because when you have these old ancient kind of cemeteries, we have these freaking crazy stories of cryptids and crazy things like the hellhounds, or even like the Mothman, appearing. Now, what's going on, in Chuck Swan, I don't necessarily think that it's the same Mothman that was in Point Pleasant, but it very well could be. I kind of think that there are alternate explanations for them, really. And some of these cryptids, I think, are as a result of government experiments, interactions, trying to create, better soldiers. Yeah, the 1700s freaking cemeteries are creepy as shit. Like, those are like, it's just a whole different feeling. just a complete different feeling. And I'm not sure if anybody saw them talking about this. Hey, Christian, what's going on, man? But President Xi and Vladimir Putin were talking about organ harvesting and being able to live like forever. You know, the thing that I saw, that was what they claimed they were saying, but you know, I'm not 100% sure. Dang, it's already 1:45. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of wrap this up here. I want to show you all Sunny before. Hey, sweetie. Hey. 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 Hey, little girl. Hey, little girl. Let's say hi. Let's say hi. So this little one here is going to be probably joining me on some adventures. And it's kind of fun. I wasn't really planning on her, like, I don't know, but she's like the sweetest, like funniest little dog I've ever had. And I've never had a dog this small before. My other one, Duke, is freaking a monster. Yeah, Truth Walker, puppy. So you can see how little she is. She's been sleeping, so she's kind of groggy at the moment. I'm gonna have to take her out before. So just at least wanted to share her with you all so you could see her. Why are you so lethargic, honey? Were you that asleep? Were you that asleep? Okay. All right, y'all. So I know she's awesome. She's awesome. She was in a good dream. I was listening to her kind of yelp. So she's a mix with a Cavalier and a Poodle. She's really, really smart. Really, really smart. I've never had a dog this intelligent and this agile either. She's able to just basically stand on her back feet and walk. She's become really attached to me, and she's super interested in the woods and going out in the woods. Like she hides in any kind of grass that she can kind of get into, and she sniffs. She loves to chase like moles in the ground and squirrels and stuff. But her response to me is pretty awesome, because all the dogs that I've basically ever had in my life, you know, they were basically just like rescue dogs that had been beaten and there was abandoned. And so there's always kind of been something a little bit wrong with them. And it makes them really unpredictable. Like Duke, Duke is a big dog, and he's so unpredictable, and he's so dumb. He's got he kind of patrols the outside. He loves it this way. He can come in the house anytime he wants, but he prefers being outside. And like when there's going to be bad storms and stuff coming, I put big black X's on the doors with electrical tape, because he gets excited and just takes off running and just will run right into the freaking door. So, hey, Queen's here, right on. You kind of missed it. We've been talking now for about an hour and a half. So Matthew, yeah, if it was me, I'd rather take a bigger dog in the woods. I agree. I've never had a dog this small. I don't really know, but you know, just kind of the way things worked out, I ended up with her, and so she's part of the clan now. I'm gonna make her a little basket, I think, on my motorcycle and get her some goggles, so she can ride with me and maybe ride on the e-bike with me. So, yeah, I definitely know what you mean, man. So yeah, I'm healing up. for sure. Things are getting a little bit better. The wound did kind of split open some more, but it's back. It's good. I've been keeping a compression wrap on it. I got to go back and see the doctor again at the end of the month, and I've got some more surgeries I got to do, but I don't know if I'm going to do them this year. I'm just going to kind of wait and see what's going on all with it. So yeah, but I'm doing good. I can't lift really anything over 2 pounds. I'm not supposed to anyway. So it's kind of hard to do, for sure. Picturing the dog riding with goggles. I know. Wouldn't it be freaking funny? Just see her with, goggles, just, because she, like, right now, I mean, I don't know how big she's going to get. Right now she's a puppy. She's only 9 weeks old. So she's still little. But she's smart, and it's going to be fun. Leather aviators. Yeah, exactly. It'll be hilarious. So Matthew Hayward, I've seen your comments. I don't want to block you, man. I don't want to do that. But for one, on this channel, we don't say things like that to get attention. I am an Army vet for sure. If you are having some issues and you need somebody to talk to, feel free to reach out to me. Like, for sure. Like, I will 100% help you. If I'm not really sure why you would come in to the chat and start saying things like that, other than maybe you need some help, need somebody to talk to. Like I said, I'm an Army vet. I'll do whatever I can to get you the help you need. But talking like that, that's not cool. Not cool at all. Because I know a lot of people that have had to do that and they struggle with it. So I don't think coming into a comment section and making those claims is okay in any way. So when you're there, I get scared. I know it is freaking scary. It is scary, but it's I like the adrenaline side of things. It's fun. Yeah, Sharon, I'm going to be redoing the mods for sure. Things just kind of got out of control. Not saying that you did anything wrong. You were always a huge help, and I'm definitely going to reinstate you. But things were, I started looking at stuff, and I had all of these people that weren't approved or that just like had access to do kind of whatever they wanted that I didn't even know on the channel. So it's kind of weird. So I'm going to be getting them back on this chat. We haven't really had too big of an issue. I don't know if that one guy was looking for some help or looking for attention, but that's not the way it works here. So yeah, but guys, I'm going to wrap things up. I'm going to have to get her outside. She's going to have to pee. I want to say thank you to everybody that donated through the PayPal and Cashapp. It's a massive help to me right now being down. And it's been kind of scary thinking about how I'm going to be able to get back out on the road, but I will figure something out and work on getting out there. I'm going to make it happen. I just don't know how. You know what I mean? So last question. Queen, thank you so much. Friggin' awesome. Do I think the feral people have a breeding population? I do for sure. So Catherine, massive fan from UK. Fantastic. Oh yeah, tonight I will be over at the World's Fair. So if you do see me, please just say hi. Come up, say hi. I'll be happy to take a picture. Meet anybody. I'm extremely grateful for you all. So don't ever feel weird about coming up and saying hi. So other than that, thanks guys. Well, I really had a lot of fun today. So I'm going to try to get this going again. So yeah, for sure, Queen. So love y'all. Talk to y'all soon.